Well, you're the one.
Every time, man. Every time.
Well, welcome back to the Regular Dad. We are continuing. This is part 4 of a 4-part series on letting go of a variety of things. You name it, we've probably covered it. I was going to give you a social media.
Your technology is failing you.
Yeah, it is. So here's one. And this is an interesting thing. Very similar to the Blue October. I don't know the guy, the front man.
Justin Furstenfeld.
Yes. That's a lot of syllables. You got to meet him, but he was, I've seen him live. He was a very, connective artist.
Yeah,
So it was
he's
good.
awesome.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
But, the 3 Doors Down guy, Brad something.
Don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
But look at the social media profile, Brad 3 Doors Down.
Okay.
Now that's him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's his personal page. So he's had a massive conversion.
Really?
Yeah. And it's been a little bit now.
Okay.
But he's still with the band, still going. But
Yeah.
every time. So he's out there with these rocker dudes, and he's got a platform, and he's sharing the Lord. It's cool.
Wow, that is cool.
And his he used to kind of would sing. It was he kind of sad stuff. Now he sings the lyrics, but you look at him and it's like that dude is happy. It's really kind of weird.
Yeah.
So if
I feel the same way about Justin.
So if you're our age, if you're tracking along, and you're in your early mid 40s, whatnot, you probably were on and you listen to that genre of music. You're probably a 3 Doors Down.
Hearing the guitar riff and
yeah, absolutely.
Seeing the music video from
absolutely.
I think they were in not Afghanistan. We were in Kuwait.
Okay.
Where they filmed one of the music videos was all the military.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a cool one just to check out. And that was Brad 3 Doors Down. Of course, that's Instagram, but and it may be on others.
Cool.
That's where I saw that. So anyway, take a look at that.
Okay.
All right. So
So I referenced this last time. Part 4.
yes, you did. Letting
go of identity.
Identity. And I told you that I may not be here for this one.
Well, here you are.
Here I am.
So
we'll kick it off. Tell me what you think.
So this
what
is
you
the,
know,
this
and
is
then
the big one.
Yeah.
This ties into all of the others, and we connect our identity to things, people, and seasons, and other things that are temporary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our identity I think we're designed to have an identity that is solid.
Yes.
That is
absolutely.
That is permanent. We may discover more parts of it, but our identity is designed to be solid by God, I think.
Yeah.
Our journey is often about making parts of who we are more solid and known to ourselves as well as others.
Yes.
But identity is meant to be solid. So it's like an oil and water thing. When you connect your identity to something that is temporary, it just generates all kinds of unhealthy behavior, feelings, emotions. And so there's a sense of, and so I think the title, in a sense, it's like, well, you're saying letting go of identity. I'm saying letting go of the things that we connect our identity to that are not permanent.
Right. Oh, I did that post-divorce, right? I was 23, right? I'm going to school. I'm feeling very alone because I'm supposed to be married, and we had all these ideas like we've talked about. And so nothing that I thought of the future was the future. Everything was foreign and new. And so I was like, screw this, man. I'm going to go get some cigarettes because why not? I mean, it was a way to, give some place in life the finger. Like I can do, I'm making my own decisions because I didn't choose to move back single. I didn't choose to go through. I didn't choose that. So I'm like, I'm going to choose to smoke because that's going to make me feel better. And so I got a pack of Marlboro Ultralights.
Yeah.
Okay. And anyway, I was really going through a lot of them. I went through probably about 10, 12 in a couple months.
Had you ever smoked before?
And technically no.
Putting you on the
but
spot.
I also did get caught by my mom in high school. So, yes, but also she caught me very, very early on. So I didn't really get to have a history as much of she caught me in an instance, pretty much. It was a very, very short season until mom came out swinging and busted me. But anyway, so that, this went on.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. So I'm 10 or 12 cigarettes deep in 2 months in, to my smoking journey to give life the finger and show everyone how
you're as cool as James Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm here. I am in college. And we have a paper due, and I'm like, I'm writing this paper. I'm like, what is that? I'm getting stressed out. I need another source. And I'm like, I need a cigarette. And I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Nope, not doing that. And it was like, so once I hit that, because I don't like to I'll have some beers when I'm grilling, or maybe my dad and I used to have at his office we'd go and we'd talk about life and have he liked rye. He had
a bottle of rye in the drawer or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did.
That's awesome.
And when he died, I went from the house to the office to collect that, and then went back to my house to put it up. So, anyway, sorry, Mom, and also not sorry. But
did Mom not know about this?
No, she knew.
Okay.
She knew. So she knew we were down there. Y'all down there drinking that rye? Well, yeah. So anyway, but I would never do it if I was sad or mad. Yeah. Everything. No, because I didn't want to ever use it to alter a state.
Yeah.
And so I don't, because my granddad struggled with alcohol bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Another one. Oh well, and both biological granddads had a struggle. One way worse than the other. So it wasn't anything that Dad ever struggled with. And I don't. But the thought of it being addicted to something, like even when I had all this sinus surgery and I felt like my back of my eyeballs were on fire, I was just taking Advil. I wouldn't even take the
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
yeah.
I was don't like it. Anyway. So when I said that, I was like, oh, I need a cigarette. Yeah. Nope. So I did get in the car, and because I didn't want to throw them away in the trash at the house. Didn't want to have to tell Mom again. Sorry, Mom. So I went up to the gas station that wasn't too far from the house, and threw them away in the trash there. Got a Diet Dr. Pepper and came back, and I was like, okay, well, this is our new de-stressor. So,
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was a short-lived appendage to an identity that wasn't mine, and it didn't fit. And once it started to get some roots and kind of wedged its way in there, I was like,
woke you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've done that for sure.
Yeah. I think, everything that we've talked about up to this point is tying into this. And so, but it's the key in my thinking, the key is that we tie something that's designed to be permanent. Like, I really believe one of the things about being a Christ follower is you have a mentor, Jesus, who knows you better than you know yourself, and is there in almost like a Mr. Miyagi fashion.
Yes.
Who knows what you are, who knows how you were built, who knows what you're capable of.
The fullness of Jeremiah 29:11.
Right. Is taking you through the wax on, wax off, slowly, surely revealing to you who you are. Right. And if I take my identity, it's almost like a quick fix. It's like the car thing I told you about. Like I had friends associated with that. I had confidence from that because people would say, man, you built a great car. Like, this thing is amazing. I would let people borrow it.
Pat yourself on the back a little bit.
It drives great, and I did things right. Like, there were authorities in that group that knew what they were talking about. And they're like, man, you really built this car right. And it became like part of me. But that was a temporary thing. That was not my identity.
Yeah.
And it was really hard when I let go of that car to not just let go of the car, but also all of the implications. And to this day, in fact, the reason that the license plate on the new car I'm buying is going to say rip ego is because it is a reminder to me that when I walk up to that Ford Maverick, which most of the trucks in Texas could eat in one bite.
It's okay. It's part of your journey.
Yeah, it's fine. So when I walk up to that thing and see that license plate on it, it's a reminder to me that this thing no longer ties into my identity at all.
Yeah.
This is not who I am.
Yeah.
This is, and maybe someday if the Father deems it and allows me, I'll be able to own a sports car again. And because there's an aspect of that that I enjoy. I love the machinery. I love driving fast. I love the feeling of handling and all of that. The sound
but
of
ego,
the engine.
idle, you're
cannot have any of that, right? So, and right now, like truth be told, I don't think that I could own my current BMW is not fast, but even that, and that's why I'm not buying another BMW.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I realize even this car that I own right now, just the fact that it's a BMW, there's a little bit of that ego that's tied to it. And I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
This is a temporary thing. It does not need to be tied into my ego or my identity. So,
I want a truck big enough to put the Maverick in the bed, right? And that's pure ego. I don't even care.
I've been coming up with different license plates that I think are hilarious.
Yeah.
But Rip Ego is the one that's going on there. But I was thinking Power Wheel would be another one.
Nice.
Nice. That would be another one. Yeah. Half truck.
It's good. Well, like for me, and this is something that I've been working on, part of the depression journey and going through different things and rewiring broken thoughts that I've had. And I'm still continuing on. We've backed out of depression. We're moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. But one of the big things that I struggled with, I was still looking for people's approval. Okay. Not just Dina's, but certainly hers, because she's, the end all be all.
Right.
But I I've said several times on this, I grew up in church. You'd think I would know better.
Right.
But in fact, no. And because I grew up in church, it was actually able to hide very, very well. Mm-hmm. And that is, okay, the Lord approves of me, period. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, there's certain things that you need to do to be in right standing, okay, with the Lord. But he approves of you no matter what. Okay. Well, now, here I am approval driven. So in order for me to accept what the Lord has told me, in the scriptures, I have to have it validated by others.
Right.
Okay. Now, I didn't realize that this is what I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay. But I work for the church. Okay. I want the worship people to pat me on the head because I do a good job. Mm-hmm. And when something goes wrong, I turn into a major a-hole because it reflects negatively on me.
Yeah. Your whole your identity is starting to shake a little. Yeah.
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 So now, not too long ago, our PA shut down for 14 seconds. Which was a Dante issue, an audio networking issue.
That's amazing.
Live. And I tracked it. Drops connection, reestablishes connection.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but wow.
It had reassigned to a lower bandwidth.
Okay.
It didn't have priority bandwidth on it. And so, I don't know what happened. It's computers. Okay. Yeah. But it happens, and I'm like, what does everyone do? When
all the heads in the...
Everyone. It's like you farted in a herd of penguins. Everyone turns around and stares at you. I wasn't even behind the board, but I was in front of the guy, and I was like, well, they're looking at me and him. And I turn around and look at him, and he is like wilting like a flower. He's just like, it's like, are you blacking out? He's like, poor guy. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right. And I just go back there and I look and, we're going to figure this out. And it pops back on and I'm like, oh my God,
Is it going to do it again?
Yeah. But if that would have happened 2 years ago, all the people
mushroom cloud over the top of the tech booth.
All the people that are sitting there they're just lost in worship and having a good time.
Oh, it happened during worship?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but wow.
Oh, so bad. So bad. Yeah, no, you weren't even there for it. Yeah. So, no, they would have heard all the reasons that I needed to be in church. Stupid piece of,
imperfect.
Yeah.
clarity because all of the sound was off.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
But we got through that. But I just remember looking at that and go, wow, I didn't absolutely lose it. Now, I still get upset. And so I'm no saint. And, my biggest thing is not being like prepared if you bring something to me last minute because we didn't, and I'll get bent out of shape. And the Lord gives me plenty of opportunities to work on that. And I get some right and some I don't. But anyway, so the big thing was approval. Mm-hmm. And then I started working on, I boiled down things in my life and I was really struggling emotionally. I backed out of a depression state, mind you, but I was really struggling emotionally because I wanted to feel adored. Mm-hmm. And I had a number of factors that were going on where I couldn't rest anywhere and go, I'm adored here.
Yeah.
And that, the Lord used that. All right. And he said, but I adore you. So I had processed the approval part, not like I had just started to go, okay, I get that you approve it, but he was like, yeah. Adored. Yeah. But I want to tell you that or approved. Yes, you are. I also want to tell you that I adore you. And I just didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah. That's a hard one
because adoration comes on the heels of long-standing approval.
Well, it's not just one that, of the reasons I think we generally feel like it's a kind of a feminine aspect.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't need you. I don't care what you think.
It's hard. It's hard to even acknowledge that you want that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So
that's good.
Yes. So I was like, all right. And I have a little, prayer thing and I would just say, I'm adored by God. Mm-hmm. I'm adored by God. Adored by God. And that's actually where the tattoo came from. This is my first tattoo, or only tattoo. Right now, there are other ones. Sorry, Mom, that I'm thinking about. But Kazakh. I have this right. But this is actually Aramaic. I worked with a language translator. I talked about this on Facebook a little bit. But it says adored by God, mm-hmm. and the reason that it's right here is because it is a reminder. I see it. Mm-hmm. It's not for all the world to see. Not like I'd really mind, mm-hmm. but it's for me.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact of the permanency of the tattoo. For the longest time, I wasn't down on tattoos at all. Didn't mind, I just didn't have anything that was like, getting a little Tweety bird, that wasn't, okay, fine. Yeah, I don't care if you do that. That's just not my thing. If I'm going to get something that's going to be deep and meaningful.
Yeah.
And that is, I can't really convey how eye-opening and revolutionizing that little phrase was. Mm-hmm. And I also can't tell you how many times when you're parenting struggles, just the struggles of life that you naturally encounter, that I've caught sight of this and I'm like, because I'm wanting to disagree with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, there was a time, and then I sit there and
it's true.
And
it's bedrock.
And so,
it's permanent.
So it's done its job.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do so. But anyway, that is part of my identity that was a block that I didn't have put in place. Mm-hmm. And it gave me bad filters and bad lenses for things. Now, it's still, I can tell you, it's okay. Things come and distract you and want to put lenses back up and whatnot. But no, I've got to see it this way. So anyway, that's my little take.
Yeah, no, for me, a big part of this, a big area where God has been working on this journey in me is anxiety. And this episode that's releasing this week, with the regular granddad. We talked about that. That question was for me.
Bishop Bill Leckie.
My identity was tied to emotion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So my ability to regulate emotion, my ability to feel certain, like, this is going to sound ridiculous because it is, my ability to control what emotions I'm feeling, mm-hmm. which that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. And was tied to my, okay, I'm healthy. Yep. If I'm not getting angry, if I don't feel anger, mm-hmm. if I don't feel depression or despair or whatever word you want to put on that, I don't feel anxiety about things. And I equated the feeling of like that knot in my stomach, that anxiety, as weakness. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not able to deal with this thing that's happening.
Yeah.
In a strong manner because I'm feeling this.
Yeah. Don't let me forget. I'll tell you how weakness is a good thing. Because I was just talking to Banks about this.
Yeah.
So,
what I've realized, like, especially we talked about a bunch of the circumstances that are going on in my life right now, which are nothing that I'm dealing with right now is as big a deal as most of the people around us that I've seen.
Oh gosh.
There's so many people that are dealing with more, and I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying that to
we've each got our own stuff,
perspective.
But
as I'm walking through these things, what is happening as I'm untying my identity from the emotions and tying it back into God, which I'm not going to make any bones about it. I believe that's where it belongs. He is the ultimate permanent thing.
Yeah.
So I'm tying my identity back into God. When something happens and I feel an emotion that I used to call unacceptable, now it's just like, oh, I'm feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
And it doesn't tie into who I am to feel that emotion.
Yes.
Oh, I'm feeling anxiety. Oh, this thing makes me feel anxious. Oh, I'm angry.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I'm a sinner.
No.
Just because I feel the anger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. That and do I wish I didn't feel angry? Yeah, I do.
Sure.
But I don't have to like sit here and my identity is no longer tied into that. And what would happen, especially with anger and like anxious thoughts, is that I would spiral downward because it's like, oh, I'm feeling it. Now I'm angry because I'm feeling it, which makes me.
Yep. I'm weak and vulnerable. Now I'm mad that I'm weak and vulnerable.
Right. Yeah.
Full throttle.
Yeah. And I don't think that, I don't know that even, I don't think as dads, as men, that most of us or a lot of us can even articulate that.
No.
We just know that we're yelling expletives and throwing tools around the garage.
Absolutely.
Or
sorry, Mom.
Or we're yelling and screaming at our wife or our kids.
Yeah.
We don't know why.
Right.
What I'm learning now, finally.
Because there was a sock on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
How dare you?
Because
you don't respect my rules in my house.
I think when our identity is tied into things that are not permanent, I think when our identity is tied into things that are flexible and impermanent, as men, often that leaks out as anger.
Oh yeah.
As like anger expressed, not just a feeling, but like we express anger in an inappropriate manner.
Other people know.
Right. It leaks out as clamming up. Going into our cave. I think it leaks out as like what we would call like a midlife crisis.
Yep.
We just dive into a hobby. You know?
Yep.
And if those things are going on in your life, I would say if you're really willing to look in the mirror and be like, okay, where am I tying my identity into?
Yep.
Yep.
And for people without a spiritual connection, there's going to be a struggle there.
I really do believe there. Yeah. I mean, I know some very healthy people who are not believers, but
it's hard. And
and expensive, maybe therapy.
Right.
I don't know.
So yeah. But the whole concept of an identity is and again, as believers, it's not supposed to be complete on your own.
Right.
You're not supposed to be able to be a whole person on your own. And that was what I was talking about earlier, the component of weakness. That's what we're supposed to bring to the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. Is because in our weakness, His strength is made perfect.
Right.
If we don't give Him our weakness, where is His strength given room to operate in our lives?
Right.
And it's okay to be aware of your identity and be deficient in an area that you need Him. Maybe it's an area that he brings you forward in. Maybe it's an area that He doesn't, so that it is a permanent residence for his power.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been talking about with Banks. He's like, I've been struggling and I've tried and I've. And I was like, yeah, but how much have you submitted to the Lord?
That word keeps coming up, man.
And he's
like, a good word.
I mean, but you told me I got to be, big man, be responsible and take responsibility for my actions. You do. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the next step of being a big, mature man. Okay. An adult, and again, we're raising them in a Christian household, is where are you struggling, and give that to the Lord. Yeah. There are natural areas where you excel, but you can't focus on all the areas that you excel and ignore the other things. Vulnerability is such a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Because it highlights our humanity, our depravity. Don't think I'm trying to naysay or I'm not trying to, speak shame, but we are, our
heart is more deceitful than all else, right? So, and is desperately sick.
But there is freedom and wholeness and just a joy that's on the other side of going, I really struggle with this. Lord, please help me.
Yeah.
And as opposed to, I really struggle with this. I suck. You're still carrying it, but it's like you give it to him and it's like, all right, he's going to carry it now. And now you're partnering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you already aren't good at it, how are you going to get better at it on your own? There's just so many different ways that you can go on that, but we will be disappointed with our identity and wish it looked like the other things, like we've talked about on, other episodes, where we wanted life to look this and this way. And I wanted to be this type of person. And I wanted to be perceived this way.
Yeah.
And while those things aren't inherently bad, if we'll focus on who does the Lord want us to be, where is he trying to stitch us?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're making room for him, and then we can receive a satisfaction in our identity, even if it's not like what we thought it was going to be. There's a satisfaction that comes in because of what it now is,
right?
And once you start to connect to that whole Jeremiah 29:11 thing, and integrate him and submitting to him and drawing on, giving your weakness to him and pulling that together, you'll get a real good idea of what he's talking about there, because it makes room for it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think the weakness
is good.
It is good. As weakness, it's like there's like bad words that bad words.
Because it's not not permanent, and two, it's not ours to carry.
No. And it's like the classic
not abating
saying,
responsibility.
I think is it the Marines? I think it's the Marines. Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Yes.
Like, dude, I love that saying. I know it gets thrown around a lot, but like the mental anguish that we go through during those times where we are faced with our weakness and actually submit to the process of
that's a hard one,
of allowing the Holy Spirit to come in. We accept the weakness. We know, okay, I'm weak. I can't handle this. The Spirit comes in. That is a painful thing.
Right.
But it literally is. Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Or in this case, leaving the Spirit. I think, man, the more, and it just leads, what happens is, as we see that process play out, and as we find that the Spirit is trustworthy in that process, and as we find that we can lay in the Father's arms and trust him, dude, it starts to go from being a fearful thing as we come into a situation where we feel weak, to an exciting thing where it's like, okay, I'm faced with yet another thing where I feel weak, God, but like, I know what happened before when I submitted to you. And I let go of my identity connecting to this thing and put it back on you and trusted you completely. Man, I know what happened before, and it was awesome. So let's do it again. And I think that maybe that's part of the difference between, we've talked about in the past, between old folks who are bitter.
Yeah.
And at least maybe in the church, and old folks who are like that seasoned, like you just can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
And nothing phases them. Like you think, oh, you're 90 years old. You've never seen this before. Look at this thing on the internet. And they're like, it's whatever. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have some like great wisdom for you.
And you can't doom and gloom them either.
Right.
Because they're like, psh,
it's like, man,
sit down, kid.
And I think maybe that's part of becoming that person.
Yeah.
Is learning to submit that weakness, letting go of the things that we connect our identity to that are making us on one level feel strong, but it's really holding us back.
Yep. Bitterness breeds bitterness, and submission breeds health.
Yeah.
And healthy outlooks and perspectives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to stop.
All right. That's good by me. All right.
Yeah.
Record time. Not really, but whatever.
Whatever.
I don't know what we're talking about next. But this is the conclusion of part 4 of the series of Letting Go. But we'll be back with something. So come back and check us out next time on The Regular Dad.
See you then.